Hello, my name is Grand Circuit, and today I'm going to be showing all of you guys how I accomplished what I did in my last video. If you have not seen the last video, please go watch it. I'll be going over the same stuff I did, like I didn't do that much, but I think I did get a good start. If you are new to the channel, then what this essentially is I have you guys, the viewers, vote on what the next feature should be, which the features are decided by you, and the feature with the most likes gets put into the next iteration of this project, and then I show you guys how I went about it, and how I did everything I did. Now, last time, what I did was I added this small black dividing line, which is put in the middle of both the blue and red side. So it's not perfect, but it does show a bit of territory control. As you can see, blue pushes as they get more people on this side. And then I also did it for the GUI here. And what I will be going over today is a design pattern. If you don't know what a design pattern is, it is basically just a standardized way of making your code more modular and more readable. And then I will also be going over how the basics of GUI within Unity and some things about how it works and how to use it, and also how I used it for the tug of war here. So let's get to it. So let's ask this. How do we actually update the GUI? Do we have the code within the units and they just reference the tug of war, the divider, and the text, and they just increment it from themselves? Well, I could do that, but then for consistency's sake, I should do that with everything else. But then I have to essentially repeat myself, which becomes very annoying. So there is actually a way we can stop ourselves from repeating ourselves, and that is using a creational design pattern called a singleton. Now, think of a singleton as a manager, a middleman, and how it works is that we have our little nodes here, and they call to this manager, they call to this middleman, and they essentially state, do this. Now, the only thing that needs to reference the GUI is this manager, which makes it that there are now less references and overall just cleaner code, because now not everything has to reference the GUI, but it can reference the manager of the GUI. Singletons are very easy to make. You really only need 2 lines for them. You can have more just in case for the sake of safety, but really you only need 2 lines for a singleton. First, you need to have something that the other classes can reference. So, how we do that is we have public. And because we only ever want one instance of this, that is one thing with a singleton, only use it if you ever want one instance of that object or manager, which if you're making a manager, then most likely there only should be one instance. So we then put the keyword static. What static does is make sure that there will only ever be one instance of the leaderboard within the project. So then we do leaderboard, which is the class name, so it is a class leaderboard, and then do instance. Now we have that, but how do we actually define what instance is? We've made the reference, but now we need to initialize it. Well, that's also easy. All we have to do is do instance equal this. This referring to just the class. And then we're done. The singleton is now done. Now, before I go on to actually show how the units and everything should reference the singleton, I'm going to just show the functions here. Mainly just these 2 functions, as these 2 functions will be referenced by the other classes. We now have the leaderboard singleton, and we have that the units now communicate with the leaderboard to increment the text. But one little last thing that we have to do is we actually have to put it in a scene. Now, how I usually do this, and I know a lot of other people usually do it like this, they put all the managers or singletons into an empty object, which all you have to do is create empty, there you go, and then you can add a component, leaderboard, there you go. But I have all my managers in one empty object. So we have our unit manager, which is another singleton I have that just holds every single unit. And then we also have our leaderboard right here. And that's how you do a singleton within Unity. But again, singletons can be used in any program in which you need to reference one class in a lot of different areas. Now, there are a couple caveats to singletons. Because they can be referenced from anywhere, you might not know where the actual bug is, because it could be in the thing asking the singleton to do something, it could be in the singleton itself. Also, another thing with singletons is that they can very often be abused. A rule of thumb is just only really ever use it if you need to have a manager, like an audio manager, a game manager, a GUI manager, a leaderboard manager, anything like that. Anything where you need something managed from a central source. Now, to go over actually how my GUI works, I need to go over how a canvas works. Now, I think for the most part, most people will know what it is, but for all those who don't know how a canvas works within Unity, here's how it works. A canvas is the area in which GUI, things like text, buttons, sliders, anything that is not like actually in the game is displayed. For something to be displayed, it needs to be a child of a canvas. You can have multiple canvases actually on screen at a time. That's actually how I got the health bars on my units here. They have a canvas and then they have an image which displays the health. Now, going back to the main project, we have this. And just to kind of go over some of the canvas's core features and how I did everything. If we go to render mode, this is where the canvas will be rendered. There are 3 different modes. You have overlay, which is just the main screen. This is good for things like menus, things that don't really need to change all that often. Then you have camera, which is basically the same thing, but instead of it just being an overlay of the screen, it's attached to one of the cameras, which from what I have found, I have never actually used this mode myself, but from what I have found, this is good for if you want like certain effects over the camera, like maybe some blurriness or something like that. And then you have world space. World space essentially makes it so the canvas is actually in the world. That's actually how I make the health bars move along with the units, because the canvas is now an object attached to a game object. But how did I actually go about making this slider here such that it moves along whenever the units push? Well, it's quite simple. First, you go to canvas, you go to UI, which is where you'll find all the UI. You go to slider. I'm now just kind of gonna mess with the values. 120, height 200, and you have this. Now, we're gonna kind of gut this a bit. We're gonna remove some of the things we don't need. Handlebar, we don't need. And actually, that's pretty much it. But then, how do we get it to be different colors? That's also somewhat simple. All we have to do is change this to the point where we can change this to any color. You can change it dynamically. Just reference the background in the script and you'll get what is the right side. So you can do this. And then for your fill area, you're going to go to fill and then change this to whatever color. We're going to change it to red, just like up here. And then the slider is where you actually change the values. You do something like this. You can actually also, I guess, change the values. So if you want it to be right to left, you can also do that. If you want it to be bottom to top, do it like that. Top to bottom, do it like that. And then you can change all of that. You can also change the min and max values. For instance, you can do this. So now there's more values. But that is how I got my slider. But how do I actually make it so I can change the slider with a script? Well, if we go back to my leaderboard script here, you will see that going down here, up here, I reference the slider in control area, and then all I have to do is do control area value, math.lerp, which lerp, all that does is make it so the value doesn't instantly snap to the value. It makes it go there over time based off a certain value. I have it here delta time, which is all delta time is the difference between frames. Honestly, this can be whatever number you want. It just dictates how fast the number moves from one area to the next. But yeah, we do the equations here for what the center of the field is, and then we normalize that value by adding the size x, which, now that I think about it, actually, I could have made it so I just changed the minimum and maximum value in my territory control here to fix that issue, but you live and you learn. So we normalize the value, and then we make it go to that position over time so it smoothly goes over there. And we do the same thing with the divider. We just don't normalize the value because it's already accounted for that because it's the position. And yeah, so that is how I did it. A very simple thing to add. I wanted to start off with something simple, something just to show that this can work. I hope you guys learned something. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you next time. Again, if you have any suggestions for the project, please put them in the comments, as this experiment will only work with you guys interacting. Thank you, and goodbye.